Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the weekly Shonen Jump Breakdown for the week of August 21st, 2017. My name's Trey. We have video and glare, and I'm going to have to see if I can figure out what to do with that. But for now, we're ready to rock. So this week we start off with The Promised Neverland, Chapter 51. This was a really solid chapter. We finally get to see what Sanju's up to. Sanju has been super creepy for weeks now. And we finally get to see what his whole thing was. And it's just that he wants to eat humans. Sanju just wants to eat humans. Of course. Yeah, sure. Perfect. Let's go. Sanju wants to eat some humans because he wants to hunt humans. He remembers when he could eat as many humans as he wanted, and he's super down for that. It's like, okay, yeah, that makes perfect sense. We had a really great cover page. We had a really nice shot of the wasteland. Mujika gives Emma that amulet, and there's a lot of different things that amulet could be. Personally, I think it's probably a ward to help keep demons away, maybe to make it where they can't smell them, something like that. But it could just as easily be like a tracker for Mujika to be able to find her later, or some kind of defensive ward or something like that. There's a lot of different options, and I'm looking forward to figure out what it is. But search for the 7 walls. Are there 7 checkpoints leading up to the bridge they need to get back into the human world? The bridge that's not there anymore? I don't know, that's really interesting. It's also really, it's a great phrase. Like, it's the kind of thing that you'd put in a D&D campaign. Search for the 7 walls. We also get some really nice images of Norman and Connie walking with the others, because they're still there with them in their hearts, you know? And then the chapter ends with this great moment where they go to check the coordinates, and they're there. They're at this place. They're exactly where Minerva should be, and it's on this cliff face with nothing there. It's like, okay. So, very much looking forward to seeing what comes of that next. Like every week, it feels like every week with The Promised Neverland, just looking forward to the chapter. This series is really great, and I'm really happy that it's continuing. I'm really happy that it's gotten the showing that it has, and I can't wait to see where it goes next. My Hero Academia 149. So, we already knew from the last couple chapters that Twice and Toga were working against the Hasakai. But to have this chapter where we get to see their introduction to the Hasakai, and get to see Twice have immediately like, no, I can't tell you anything, and then spill the entire bean. So then Toga just does too, because why not? It also gives us a little bit more of an understanding of both their quirks. Something that I know, in different places people have been asking for. Specifically, Toga's quirk, I think, was the one that people were really confused as to how it continues to work. We knew blood was involved, but like, how much does she need? How long can she keep the form? And now we have those answers, so that's great. Irinaka super believes in the Yakuza boss, like the bedridden Yakuza boss. Not Overhaul, but the bedridden one. He super believes in his dream to bring the Yakuza back. And when it all starts to spiral out of control, where it doesn't look like they'll be able to do that, now we understand why Irinaka is so upset. And I think that really makes his character a lot stronger. He almost immediately gets put down by Toga, and in her way of, the little guys always hide the most. And then Deku finds him when he screams right before he attacks, and immediately Aizawa and Night Eye just take him down. I really like Irinaka, though. Now that we've got a little bit more to know about him, we know what's going on with him, I really like him. It's kind of a shame he got taken out so quickly. But I guess, to be fair, it has been like 6 chapters with him dealing with this guy. So maybe it's not that quickly. It just feels like it because we got the side story with Kirishima and Rappa and all that. So it feels like we haven't had a lot of time with Irinaka, and I guess we really have. But still, very, very well done. And then we get the stinger, the shot of Mirio facing down Overhaul. Yes. Yes, please. Thank you. That's going to be a fun fight. Because when we look at Overhaul, we think that he's probably a little overpowered, it seems. If he can touch it, he can destroy it. It's kind of the same way that Shigaraki seems a little overpowered sometimes. But we have to remember we have characters like Mirio that can just go through things. Or like Aizawa that could just look at him and be like, nope, you can't touch anything now. So, very much looking forward to seeing how that goes. Kind of afraid that Overhaul's just going to touch the ground and shred the ground and then run off. But we'll see. Good chapter. One Piece 875, and oh my gosh, I can't say 5 apparently. 875, but this was a great chapter. I feel like always, One Piece brings it every week, except when One Piece is on break. But when it's not on break, One Piece brings it every week. So we start off the chapter with Brook and Chopper seeing a merman. Is that Aladdin? Could that be Aladdin, or is it somebody else? Is that maybe one of Shirahoshi's brothers? They maybe come to support the Straw Hats? There's so many options for that. It could even be a villain that we don't know yet. But I suppose if it had been a villain, they probably would have fought right then. Who knows, though? This could be really interesting. I would like to see where that little one-off thing goes. And for all I know, that's just another thing of Oda being like, yeah, hey, there's the merman out there. But hopefully not. We have Big Mom still losing her mind. If you guys wonder why I look to the left, that's where all my notes are for the weekly breakdown. But Big Mom is she's still crazy about this wedding cake that she wants. We're back in the Seducing Woods. And I know a lot of people had problems with the Seducing Woods before. I feel personally like all of that paid off right here. Like, we started off in the Seducing Woods with chapters kind of dragging a bit, and all the stuff with Cracker, and all the stuff with everybody getting lost, and the fake Luffy. But now our characters know. Our heroes know about the woods. They're prepared for the woods, and they're going around, basically, the problems that the woods have. They're continuing on the straightforward path. They're not getting diverted. They're not stopping. They're just keeping going. And I personally feel like that makes the whole thing worth it, is to have this moment where we were lost in here before, but now we understand it. We overcome it. We also have Luffy Gatlinging. That's the phrase. Jet Gatlinging Prometheus, and of course Prometheus is fine because he's the sun. He's fire. He's not a Logaia user. Haki's not going to work on him. He's just a sun, and so he's fine. Jinbei, however, puts in some work and puts him down, even if just for a little bit with Murasame. This Scarecrow attacks Pedro and seems to know exactly who Pedro is. And Roger Space has a really solid theory that the Scarecrow is the one that has Pedro's life. So it'd be really cool to see if Pedro gets to finish him off and get his life back. I really like Pedro as a character, and it's kind of a shame that he has so little lifespan left. Granted, I also love character death, so I wouldn't be against Pedro dying in a really cool way. But, there's no point in him dying if we don't have to have him die. You know what I mean? So, sorry, one of the cats was making noise over there. You guys will probably actually see them come into frame behind me. You can actually see Chase's cat behind me right now. That's Socks back there on the couch. So yeah, that's not all this chapter had, though. We also have that Zeus gets the weather ball. So it's been a common conversation between One Piece fans lately on YouTube, on Reddit, on many other forums like NeoGaf. Like, hey, what if Nami gets to keep Zeus? And we even talked about it here on our channel a couple weeks ago. What if Nami gets to keep Zeus? Now, Nami literally controls Zeus. Zeus has eaten her weather ball, and she can control Zeus through that weather ball. So unless Zeus pukes that weather ball back up, she got him. He's hers. She can just pull him along with him. She won't even have to do that because she can just constantly feed him through the weather ball. Like, the level of power Nami has right now is crazy. Now, a couple things could happen. Obviously, Big Mom could pull the soul back out of Zeus, and then Zeus is gone. Nami would get the weather ball back. Zeus could digest the weather ball, and it spread throughout him, and Nami be able to completely control him. That'd be pretty cool. Or Zeus could spit up the weather ball, and then Nami would no longer have control of him. I mean, it could go any way, honestly, but I think that's a huge power jump for Nami that I would love for her to keep. Because she puts it to good use. She immediately nukes Big Mom with it. And of course, Katakuri's on the Sunny, and he's like, oh, the Straw Hats are dead. Big Mom used Zeus to take them out. We're good. And Prospero is like, hey, Brook, Chopper, you can go. Maybe I'll consider letting you leave. They're just like, no way. Brook starts pulling out the sword, and Chopper gets into a point. It's like, oh yeah, here we go. And then we have the final moment with Pudding. So Chiffon was great. Her declaration that it's fine to say you want to repay somebody, but that you actually have to be willing to do it when the time comes is great. I love that. I don't like, personally, what's going on with Pudding. Her flip-flopping back and forth between the not even really being able to say Sanji's name that great with the little hearts, and then immediately being, like, angry Pudding again. I haven't really liked Pudding as a character most of this arc. I think she's okay, but I don't think she's great. And I feel like this is not the way to get us to care about her, you know? Having her flip-flop back and forth like this. At the same time, like, you know, she's fine as a character. Like, the idea of her, I just wish that her interactions were a little better. Of course, that could change. It could be that she's actually super in love with Sanji and she's going to try and help him escape. Or it could be that she actually does really super hate Sanji and she's going to try and kill him. But what I expect to happen is, honestly, what Roger's Face brought up, which is that the three of them will probably, like, Chiffon and Pudding will probably get the ingredients together and Sanji will make a cake to get Big Mom off their backs. It makes perfect sense. It's, as usual, watch Roger's Base, you like One Piece. We Never Learned 27. So We Never Learned 27 starts off with a swimsuit cover page. Poor Furuhashi. Poor Furuhashi. I mean, she tries so hard to be able to compare to the other two. I still think of the three, she's probably the best. Though Takamoto has been, you know, inching up there. And Ogata's still great. Like, there's not really a bad choice here of the girls. They're all great. At the same time, chapter starts. Best girl is outside her apartment. Kurisu sensei. Best girl. Hands down. So, Yuiga catches her out there, and he's just going to try and walk by. He's like, it's not my problem. I don't know what's going on. I'm out of here. And, of course, she stops him. There's a bug in her apartment. She needs help. She's freaking out. She doesn't like cockroaches. Won't even let him say the word cockroach. Permission denied. Again, this is not anything we've never seen before. But I feel like We Never Learned handles it in such a really solid way, where these characters aren't flip-flopping and changing who they are to be able to make a situation happen. They're instead the same character. You're just seeing different sides of them. And a lot of anime and manga can't say that. But anyway, we'll continue on. I'll get off my soapbox now for We Never Learned. You guys all know how much I like it. Despite the fact that it's just a shipping show, basically. Show? Manga? What show are we on right now? Anyway, he sticks around after they try to get the bug because the bug escapes. And Yuiga decides to study. And Kurisu, you know, helps him study and then orders some food and offers to let him eat because she appreciates the help, you know? And Ogata delivers the food. Of course she does. Of course she does. There's literally only one udon place in the city. We already know that. It's already been stated that they have the best udon in the city. So that's where you're going to go if you're ordering takeout. Again, this is something that we see happen a lot in anime and manga with harems where a character shows up and it's like, oh, this is a misunderstanding. But in this case, at least, there's a totally plausible reason for her to be there. She's already the delivery girl, and we already knew that from chapter 5, I think. So this is a great twist that I didn't expect, honestly. I was like, I should have. In hindsight, it's perfectly obvious, but I didn't see it coming. So, Ogata obviously is upset. She wants to know what's going on. And Yuiga originally goes to tell her and then stops because he realizes Kurisu doesn't want her to know that she's scared of bugs. Everything's going fine. Yuiga brings out board games that Ogata brought with her because Ogata has board games with her while she's delivering udon for some reason. But it's fine. They play, and Kurisu beats her ruthlessly. And then the bug comes back, and we get to hear its thoughts. And I just want to hold one up there for raise your glass for that poor little bug. That poor little bug that he just likes girls with glasses, man. He just wanted to love. And so he comes running for Ogata. And she crushes him. Sometimes you just like a girl with glasses. And you don't want her to crush you. But with the bug dead, there's no reason for anybody to have to stay around anymore. So they go to leave. And Ogata is still a little upset. She's a little bit upset. And she asks Yuiga, hey, if there's a bug at my house, would you help me out? And he's like, what? No, you know what to do. And so she's upset about that. I loved this chapter. This chapter was great. I don't know if it's just because we were on break last week or not, but this was one of my favorite chapters in all of Jump this week. The entirety of the situation with the roach, the stuff with Yuiga not knowing what to say when both girls were beside him, where they both wanted his attention to be able to try and understand what was going on, the stuff with when Yuiga tries to tell Okada what's going on with Kurisu and how it's like, no, she actually does care about you. She wants you to succeed. She's just worried that you'll fail at what you're trying to do. And Okada thinks he's confessing because the lines are fine. He's not trying to be confusing. He doesn't really realize that she likes him. But she, of course, goes there first. And then, of course, that final exchange where she's like, hey, but would you come to my house, though? Because of bugs. He's like, you work at a restaurant. You take care of bugs and you're fine. You're good. This was a really solid chapter. I really enjoyed it this week. Looking forward to more, as always. Boruto Chapter 15. It is no surprise to any of you that have listened to any of the other stuff that we have on this network that I'm not a huge Boruto fan. I really liked the original Naruto. And then Shippuden started to spiral out of control, in my opinion. And eventually was bad, in my opinion. And, Patrick doesn't agree with me. That's fine. I'd like to get him on Weekly Shonen Jump Breakdown at some point when he gets caught up. But, Boruto. There's a weird mark on Boruto's hand. Because, of course, there is. This Jonin is not down. Thank goodness. I would have been really upset if this Jonin was completely taken out by one Ginin. But he's not taken out, and the rest of the team shows up to help out. And they do have a really nice combo move. I won't even... I'm not even going to dispute the fact that he's taken down from that, because it was a good combo move. I don't like Sarada's design at all. I get what they're going for. They're trying to, emulate the second Sasuke outfit from the original manga and anime. But Sasuke had those little sleeve things, where it was, wrapped around his sleeve, and this looks really cool. Sarada just has a cut off at the shoulder. She also has those weird heels. I don't really like her heels at all. I think her design could be a lot better, honestly. Mitsuki's design looked fine. I think he was normal. I get that they dropped the mission. I do. I understand that. That's, yes, don't do that, ever. But they saved the Shogun's son! At some point you have to go, hey, no, you're good. You know what? We're gonna waive it this time, because you did a good job. The Shogun is literally there! And Konohamaru says nothing to him. And the Shogun's like, I'm so glad you're okay, Tendo. And it's like, why are they getting punished for this? The mission, you could have done the mission yourself, Konohamaru. They were saving the Shogun. I mean, granted, yeah, Boruto probably should have told him that's what they were going to go do, and Konohamaru might have helped him. But still, this is the Shogun. This is not, a merchant from down the road. This is not, a sailor. This is the Shogun. Probably a good idea to save his kid when he's in trouble. Then, there's a really weird section here where they're talking about the ninja cards, and Sarada's like, if you wanted that card, you should have just kept it. And Boruto's like, you wouldn't understand. A man has to earn his cards. And it's like, her mom is Sakura. And for as much as I don't like Sakura, took her fate in her own hands as well and fought back. And eventually did marry the guy that she chased like crazy. And her dad is Sasuke, who, as much as I hate Sasuke, is the epitome of, I worked hard to get here by using my superpowers. And it's just like, you wouldn't understand. It felt a little strange to me, but maybe that's just the dynamic they have. I don't know. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, I guess. However, that benefit of the doubt is immediately forgotten when they show an Orochimaru card, and everyone's like, oh, is that what he looks like? It's been a while since we've seen him. This is not Uncle Orochimaru coming to town. That's a picture of one of the worst villains in this entire series. And you're just like, oh, is that what he looked like? I forgot what he looked like. That's so weird. Oh, he changed bodies every once in a while? Oh, that Orochimaru. I just can't believe it. It's like, come on, guys. That's Orochimaru! He literally killed the third Hokage! What? Are we just all okay with this? So then, Mitsuki's like, yeah, that's what he looks like. He's my dad. I know. And they're like, huh? You're Orochimaru's kid? And he's like, yeah. So they didn't figure it out because he had a snake that he carried around in his pocket? They didn't figure out when he extended his limbs to wrap around people? They didn't figure out when he looked super creepy all the time? Boruto and Sarada are idiots. I'm just going to lay that on the table right now. So then we get introduced to the Husk, because Ibuki and Sai and Sasuke come to interrogate this Jonin. And I appreciate, I'm not a big Sai fan either. I think Sai's okay. And I'm not a huge fan of him with Ino, but whatever, it's fine, it doesn't matter. I'm going to keep my shipping preferences out of this. I really appreciate that Sai is the last name now. As much as I may not like him as a character, the fact that he's taken Ino's last name for his own, like, that's a nice touch. That's really good. Sasuke walking in and being like, I heard you trying to mess up my boy Naruto, or Boruto. See, I do that all the time. You just gotta keep me caught. I heard you trying to mess with my boy Boruto. You know about that curse mark on his arm? He's like, well, yeah, of course Sasuke would be interested in curse marks. Like, he had one right here. So it's like, sure, okay, that's fine. I'm good. This is a good turn of events. And then this Jonin, who specializes in kidnapping and blackmail, reveals that he snuck into a basement once to steal something. Why? He literally had goons. That's their job. Go! Steal stuff for me. I'm going to be busy doing my job of kidnapping, eating, and replacing to blackmail. Anyway, that disregarded, he witnessed a Husk meeting, or like Husk being down there, and was like, oh, it feels too dangerous here, I gotta get out. And he doesn't know anything about Husk, but here are our new bad guys, the Husk. And then we get at the final couple panels, we get a Husk meeting, where the Husk are all sitting in this weird tower of blocks. And I already hate them. The fact that they're just sitting there being villains. Oh, come on, guys. We can do better than this, please. We don't... When the Akatsuki were introduced, and they were introduced with Itachi and Kisame walking, like, into the village, like, that's a good introduction. Now we know there's an organization, we know they have meetings, you can have meetings later and it's fine. Don't introduce your villains by having them sat in a room talking. Gotta get a drink of tea. Stupid villain rooms. Hunter x Hunter 368. So stuff happened this chapter. Momose is dead. Strangled, and Hanzo wants revenge. Information is being passed around like money. Queen Oito freaks out because she sees that it's going to happen but can't stop it in time. Kurapika is being drained by Emperor Time. Not just the life force either, it's the stamina that's taking him... Sorry, I got something in my eye there, that was weird. The stamina is really starting to get to him, and he passed out. He just can't keep it up anymore. Meanwhile, Sarid is worried that Theta might be on to him, or might be lying to him, that is. And so he's interrogating her, basically. Because the information is being passed around that it's 2 weeks is how long it takes to learn Nen. Which... Nen's a little weird, in that, yes, 6 months that Theta originally said is the basic time you're supposed to learn. But all of our main characters learned in like 2 weeks. So technically that information's not a lie either. I don't know, it felt like a little strange for Sarid to hold on to this arbitrary thing. And I get that it's just that he doesn't trust anybody, I understand that. But at the same time, it's like, okay, dude, like, people have different training methods. She just explained that. Calm down. And then there's blood at the end. Whose blood is that? Is it Kurapika's for passing out? Is it Sarid took out Theta and it's Theta's blood? Is it another one of the princes dead? Which is what I actually think it's going to be. Calling it for next week. Or is it that Krilla Lucifer has been doing some stuff? Because he did talk about how badly he wanted to kill somebody. So I don't know. There's a lot of options there. This was a pretty short chapter, but it was a very important chapter. Because we got to see that relations between the princes are not only super breaking down, but the princes are starting to die. And I think this chapter will really be a good segue into the rest of this arc, as the princess are probably going to start dropping boom, 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 boom. So, yeah, good chapter. Robot Laserbeam 21! So this was also kind of a short chapter, but that's okay, because it was a good chapter. So we have Kagezawa bringing out this super long club. It looked like Sephiroth drawing his sword in Kingdom Hearts. And you have... Yes, I'm aware Sephiroth is from Final Fantasy VII, not Kingdom Hearts, but in Final Fantasy VII he only has a standard size, extremely long sword, and not the Kingdom Hearts version. Stopping those comments right now. So Kagezawa brings out this super long club, and we get some information about how long clubs work, about how, it takes more force, and it's harder to control. Kagezawa doesn't really seem to have that problem, because he's on point. Munakata gets a really good divot, and we learn about divots. This is all information that's going to be important for later in the series, I'm sure, where they can just throw this lingo around and not have to explain it every time. But it's a pretty solid divot. I think divots are pretty cool. They're one of the few things about golf I did already know about, because divots are really cool. To just see the grass fly up beside a golfer while they're golfing. I always used to think that was a mistake till I found out what's going on. I was like, oh, okay. Anyway, Tohoku is all about power, it seems. They force their students to be able to make a 300-yard shot first. That's the only way. If you can't do that, you're out. Get out. You're done. So they're a lot about power, and we've noticed that in the last couple of chapters. But it seems like they might lack a little bit in technique, compared otherwise, obviously, to Suzaku. But that could be where our boys are able to bring it back. But for right now, our boys are woefully behind, and it looks like they won't be able to catch up. Until Robo gets 2 birdies in a row. On the surface, this feels kind of like, oh no, the main character powered up to be able to win an unstoppable fight. But what it actually is way cooler. Which is that Robo, his eyes aren't blank anymore. He has emotion in his eyes. And emotion in his face, and emotion in his swing. He's using all of his force to swing. It's super risky. If he's off by even just a little bit in his calculation, he'll make a huge mistake. But he's super into it. He wants to win. And when Suzaku's like, you think you can keep that up? He's like, I'm not playing for that. I'm playing to win. Yes! Yes! It's what I've wanted this whole time, to see Robo get hot-blooded. The best... you guys know, I love hot-blooded characters. But when a character that's not normally hot-blooded becomes hot-blooded for a reason, yes! Sosuke from Full Metal Panic's another one of those that does that. It's great. Food Wars 227. Fire away. So they're trying out all the dishes, like we expected them to last time. And we get a lot of time spent on the African ramen and the maki, and not a lot of time put on the green tea pork, but we still get a good understanding of it. All 3 of them did a great job. The green tea pork specifically is really great because Kuga went out of his comfort zone and learned French techniques to be able to succeed. He wanted to be able to show Tsukasa that he's more than just Sichuan cooking. He's a chef. He can learn and adapt and change and become a real challenge, and Tsukasa recognizes him. He absolutely does. But Tsukasa's dish is something as well. Une drops her spoon. We've never seen them do this before. She drops her spoon. And Tsukasa is like, hey, there's more though. Try it. She's like, no, I can't. It's too much. It's too good. And he forces her to try it. And we get a hard cut. This is not like, I wonder how much time has been. This is no. Time has passed. Tsukasa is standing on the platform, looking down at Soma in the super intimidating, silhouette, going, well, will you be joining us in the next match, Yukihira? It's like, ooh, no! And you just see the splash screen of all 3 of the council members win. And I'm not a huge fan of this development. I mean, I don't mind the council members winning, obviously. That's fine. You gotta do stuff like this sometimes. But we didn't get to see Rendo's dish at all. And the only reason we got to see Saito's dish is because of Mimisaka. But Mimisaka's dish was different. It was the perfect trace, but it was different. It had the extra. And it almost feels like the judges went, oh no, Tsukasa's dish was so good that they win as well. And if we don't get to go back next chapter and figure out what happened there, I'm going to be really upset. Because I'm not going to lie to you, when I got to that point, I thought I missed a page. I thought there was a page that was missing, and I flipped back and forth a couple times on Viz's website and was super upset. Because that's not, first off, that's not fair to those two characters. Saito, I get his dish was the same as Mimisaka's, but Mimisaka added more to it, which means that if the dishes were the same, he should have won that match. And then for Rendo's dish to not even get any screen time at all, it's like, come on, guys. I get that you want to move through this arc, but stop for just a second. That was a cool moment, but now we need to go back. And so I'm gonna hold off my frustrations till next week when we see if we get the flashback to how the other two dishes went. I expect that we probably won't, though, and we'll probably just move forward, and that will really be sad to me because I think both those characters deserve better than that. I think they've been pretty good characters so far, and I've enjoyed both of them, and they absolutely deserve better than to be skipped over. Black Clover 121 after that downer. Alec Dora is losing it in his jealousy. He's all about vengeance. Not vengeance. Vengeance. Their captain. And that's all he cares about. This fungus mage is great. I love this fungus magic. And the fact that he's like, I'm an older brother. Your older brother shouldn't act like that, Noelle. So yeah, yes. That's great. I'm also an older brother. I agree. He shouldn't act like that. I don't think you have to be a brother to be like, he shouldn't act like that. But still, I agree. Noelle, this was my favorite part of this whole chapter. Noelle tells Solid she doesn't need his acknowledgement. That she's already been acknowledged by greater people than him. Sorry. And she's already been acknowledged by greater people than him. And so you just get this shot of different characters, and it's like, yes! Yes, Noelle! Yes! Sorry, I gotta clear my throat there. It's just like, yes! Because that's what we've wanted from Noelle, or what I've wanted from Noelle for a while, is for her to overcome this problem she has with Solid. And for her to do it in such a way where it's just like, yeah, no, I don't need you to acknowledge me. I am who I am, and that's good enough. Absolutely. So, she summons this giant water snake to compare to Solid's water snake. And Solid's just like, that won't hit me. That can't hit me. I'm too good for that to hit me. And of course it hits him and breaks the crystal. Meanwhile, Yuno defeats Alec Dora by summoning a whirlwind inside Alec Dora's magic. And it's just like this complete win for them that is great. But I didn't really feel Alec Dora's character much this. I mean, we figured out what his motivation was. And we get that great line from Yuno that I don't see any dreams but my own. But it's like, man, Alec Dora was kind of one note. Like, super one note. It was, I love the captain and I will make sure his dreams win. I'm Alec Dora. And it's like, man, come on. Black Clover consistently introduces really interesting characters. And maybe he'll pull a Klaus. Maybe Alec Dora, after this beating, will realize that, Yuno was something special, like Klaus did with Asta, and come back around. And that'd be really nice. I especially want Solid to come back around. That would be great. For Solid to be like, no, Noelle, you were great. I'm sorry, you were great. That would be really cool. All told, though, this was a very quick chapter. Felt like it was over instantly. So we will see what the future brings. As usual for Black Clover. So, Dr. Stone 23. If I wasn't already super invested in the story, this would have been the chapter that hooked me. You have the ramen being given out, and one of the girls in the village is like, oh, you're Senku, right? What type of girl do you like? Because obviously she would, because nobody's ever cooked something like this before. Like, in that kind of world, that's the kind of thing you marry a guy for. Or at least, like, if you don't have marriage in this, I don't know if they do or not. I don't think they've actually talked about that. That's the kind of thing that you'd stick with a guy for. Or girl. Anybody for. Is that they can make something crazy good like that. And he's like, girls that can pump oxygen. Tons of oxygen. And Cock is just like, hey, you gotta throw it. Come on, man. Come on. Come on. Read the room. Meanwhile, Kinro and Kinro are like, oh, I can't have that. And And Ginro's like, oh, come on, but just let us go. Come on, it's food. And Ginro's like, no, we can't. But he's still got the spear. And then somebody says they want a cola. And Senku freezes. And Kohaku and Ginro and Kinro take action and surround this guy who reveals himself to be Gen Asagiri, a mentalist. There's a really cool moment where they ask him if he knows Tsukasa, and he's like, no, of course I don't. I'm so scared. Here, take my ramen bowl. Sorry I took some. I'm so scared. And Kohaku's like, every word out of his mouth is a lie. They're like birds with wings. They just fly away. Senku obviously doesn't buy it either. Puts him to work, because that's the cost for the bowl of ramen. And while he's working, is like, so how's Taiji doing? And Gin is just like, oh, you thought you tricked me while I was working and had my guard down. That will work on me. And then he immediately goes, but Taiju's good with his unlimited stamina. It's like, okay, so this guy does know Taiji. This guy absolutely knows Tsukasa. And this guy has revealed it on purpose? And the reason he revealed it is that he thinks Senku might win. And he wants to be on the winning side. It's like, okay, this guy Gen Asagiri is really interesting as a character. The fact that... Sorry, I still have a cat behind me over there. That's Simba. The fact that he's caused himself the world's smoothest talker. Like, his whole thing is that, hey, I am the Flajong in this situation. I'm the guy who just wants to be on the winning side. I don't care who wins. As long as you can offer me something, I want to win, because all I want to do is be surrounded by cute girls. It's like, all right, Gen, yeah, I get you, man. Yeah, you're in a really bad world right now, and the fact that you just want to be able to survive. It's like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. So he's gonna go back to Tsukasa and lie and tell Tsukasa that Senku's dead. Because Senku has iron. And iron is a game changer. We get this really good shot of Senku's like crew decked out in iron with iron weapons and iron armor. It's like, yeah, this manga could really go places from where I originally thought it was going to go. The thing that I'm really interested in, though, is this means that Taiju and Yuzuriha are working for Tsukasa. They probably don't want to. It's probably against their will, but they are. They're around anyway. Maybe they're being kept as prisoners, but I can't see Tsukasa not putting Taiju to work. And I'm curious who else they've gathered. Is it going to be a team of villains? Or is it going to be a team of people that are like, well, this is the only person gathered a group of people around, so I guess I'll help them. Really excited to see that. Dr. Stone, like Black Clover, constantly is introducing new and interesting characters. And as long as it doesn't suffer from that, I think it'll be a really nice touch. We'll see, though, because I'm kind of afraid we're going to get another, 40 character introduction when we get back to Tsukasa's side. But I'm very much looking forward to seeing the story of Taiju and Yuzuriha. I don't know why I always trip over that word. It's almost like how I had a hard time saying the Promised Neverland the other day. Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc V25. So last chapter of the week. Oh boy! There's some stuff in this chapter. It's Reichi versus Isaac. Isaac has a really good quip about being a villain, and Akaba's just like, we don't say that. No, nobody says that. They talk about solid vision, and how it's the space in between worlds, and it's full of matter and mass, and they want to use that mass for great power. I get that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is all about cards. I understand that. I absolutely do. But why would you put all that energy into a card and like an energy cell that you can actually use for something? Like, if you put it into a card, somebody has to hold that card to activate that energy. If you put it into a battery, you can power anything with it. Almost, roughly. But the panel Eve crying for Adam's really good. That's a solid panel. Even if those names are still super on the nose. Adam is the first one to do this that involves God, and Eve is in love with Adam, and Isaac is in love with Eve. Man, this is the thing. This is the thing here. We're not even trying to hide our symbolism here. DDD. Let me read this name. DDD Super Sight King Zero Maxwell might be the dumbest looking Yu-Gi-Oh! Monster I've ever seen. His face is a telescope. He's got a big cog on his shoulder, and he has a snake tail. Now, maybe there's an inspiration and reference that I'm missing here, but he looks pretty dumb to me, and he's got a really bad name. I get it. He's called Super Sight King, so he needs that giant telescope for a face. No, I mean, he could have just been a guy with, like, really good eyesight, though. He could have just been a machine with, like, camera lenses that alternate. I hate this design. I think it's real bad. But it's fine, because, the first turn, Isaac uses pendulum summons 3 different ones to shut down the attack of Super Sight King Zero Maxwell, because Reiji goes first. Tries to attack. I mean, they both had that turn where they set a bunch of cards. So a bunch of cards got set. Let's not forget that. But why? Why would you use 3 pendulum summons to stop that? Why would you just use Reflect Bounder? Or Negate Attack? Or Power Cylinder? Or anything that's 1 card? Bottomless Trap Hole. I don't know, it seems really weird to me to just throw out 3 cards like that to stop 1 attack. And I get it, you didn't want to eat that attack on the first turn, or second turn, I guess. That's super understanding. Like, super understandable. Super understanding? But, why? Why 3 cards? So, pendulum summoning like crazy is what Isaac seems to do. She's like, boo, 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 boo. Swing that pendulum, boys! And it's like, okay, yeah, I get, this is a thing. This is definitely a thing. I don't understand how it works, because I wasn't paying attention, I guess. But pendulum summoning is going to continue to be a thing. But at least, Isaac is like, yeah, no, my deck's really bizarre. Hope you're ready for a wild ride, because here we go. It's like, okay, yeah, I can understand that he at least recognizes that his deck is weird. So yeah, this is a really strange series. I get Yu-Gi-Oh's always been weird, but this one's, man, these references and these spacewalks and these Super Sight King Zero Maxwells. Don't like it. So we reached the too long didn't watch, too long didn't listen section of our podcast, which is where I give brief reviews for the entire week, in case you don't actually care to hear my full thoughts. So The Promised Neverland... Okay. The Promised Neverland, 51, really good chapter. We got the first taste of the despair that is going to come from not being able to find Minerva. It was the first taste of the bad that I saw coming. And it was a really good chapter, finding out what's going on with Sanju. Good chapter. Solid. My Hero Academia 149, solid. Really good chapter. Everything with the League of Villains and Overhaul's gang. Irinaka being taken out, getting to learn more about his character. Really excited for where this goes from here. And then, of course, Miria Overhaul. Good chapter. One Piece 875. Yes! Yes! Great. Yes. Oh, We Never Learned 27. Yeah, that's pretty good. I enjoyed it. Cockroaches out of cockroaches. Good job. I've got to stop doing this and this. I do it too much. I do it even when talking to people in real life. I'm just like, hey, good job. Yeah. And they get so angry all the time. Speaking of angry, Boruto 15. Didn't really like it. Didn't really enjoy this chapter. There's a lot going on that I didn't appreciate. Orochimaru. Hunter x Hunter 368. Yeah, it was a pretty good setup chapter. I really enjoyed it. We got the great reveal of Mobile being dead and all the stuff going on with there. Kurapika passing out. Yeah, good chapter. Robot Laserbeam 21. Yes. Yes. Good chapter. Food Wars 227. It was great up until the ending, which was a solid ending, but not a good one in my opinion. Tune in next week. But just for this chapter. Black Clover 121. Yes. Short, but yes. Dr. Stone 23. Yes. 2 thumbs up. Good job. Good job. Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc V25. 2 thumbs down. This one's for Adam and Eve. And God and Isaac. And this one's for DDD Super Sight King Zero Maxwell. 2 thumbs down. Tune in next week when we'll have another exciting episode of the weekly Shonen Jump Breakdown. I almost did Full Spectrum Podcast. And we're going to keep trying to use this camera. So let us know what you guys think about it. Tell me what you think about my wolf picture. Oh, there it is. Gotta use this camera. And my owl picture back there. But alright, thank you guys very much. Why? And I'll see you guys next time. Remember to always enjoy the full spectrum. The jump best off.